will be talking about internalized racism, and to be specific, stroma eye surgery. Is it internalized racism or a personal preference to people? So, here's my agenda. So, I'm gonna start off asking questions, then I'm gonna introduce the project itself, and then show my process to the project, show the project, and then you guys will ask questions. All right. So, does everybody knows what internalized racism is?
Explain it, please.
All right. So, internalized racism is basically when you feel like Caucasian is the superior race. So you have learned, like growing up, that white people like are better. For example, has everybody seen the video with the doll and the children?
Yes.
How most of the children chose the white doll over the black doll because the white doll was more prettier. That was more prettier. That was self-taught. So that's what internalized racism is. Has anybody in this room ever seen it or experienced it firsthand? And has anybody like ever been so insecure that they have thought about going through cosmetic surgery to change what they don't like about themselves?
No.
And does everybody know what stroma eye surgery is?
No.
Right. So stroma eye surgery is basically when it's like a laser surgery where they take the what's this called?
Eyelid?
Yeah, that, and then they put a color contact in, and it's basically like you're putting a permanent contact over your natural eye color.
I actually seen this happen to, and more specifically, I think it was like a black guy. He changed his dark brown eyes to like a light blue eyes, like as if considered like a white person would wear.
Multiple celebrities have been caught doing this, like Tiny Harris and her daughters they went to Africa to change their eye color from a dark brown to a very light, vibrant blue. So that's one example. Alright, so the project is basically, in AP Human, we were talking about racism and race and how we see it in the society today. So Ms. Ford, she made us pick a type of racism that we wanted to do, and I personally found internalized racism most interesting because you see it a lot. People like try to bleach their skin and change their eye color because they aren't happy with the way they look and they want to be like the more superior race. So in internalized racism, there are multiple types like skin bleaching, change your eye color, dyeing your hair blonde. So I personally picked the stroma eye surgery because I found that the most interesting, and it's not very common, but it still happens. So when I was finding what I wanted to do, the research I was doing, I did very similar research, and I had peers see whether this was reliable, and I also asked Ms. Ford to see if this was reliable, a reliable source. So I went to numerous websites trying to find the perfect source to include in my PowerPoint. So the reason I picked this topic was because, like growing up, I've seen a lot of people like try to bleach their skin and try to get lighter so they seem more Caucasian. And I was like, growing up, it made me feel weird because I'm dark skinned, so I thought that most people would want to do that because they're dark skinned and they wanted to be like the superior race. So that's why I picked it, because I've seen it, and most people do it because they get better opportunities, better jobs, because they seem more Caucasian. So, growing up, I've constantly seen people bullied because they had darker skin or they had like kinkier hair than most people, and they were constantly put down because of their features. And Sarah Jane from the movie Intimidation of Life, she was abandoned by her black mother because she was very fair-skinned. So basically she was put out because she looked more Caucasian than her mother. And people in the black community, people always want to seem more Eurocentric. They always want to appear more to the Eurocentric side because that's where the most opportunities happen. They usually get like better husbands, better housing. They usually get more opportunities like that. changed her eye color from brown to ice gray, and she also took her daughter to do the same thing, so now they have blue eyes. And that most physicians say that the procedure is very dangerous and you're basically putting your eyesight at risk if it doesn't work out. So I think that should be a warning to the Black community to stay away from trying to be more Eurocentric. And in the back there's Tiny and her daughter. You see how they both have like ice gray eyes. So the permanent eye color change is like very risky. Most people wouldn't do it, but I mean, if you have the money to do it, then and you're really like down about yourself, you would do it too if you really had a lot of insecurities. And basically, the whole project is showing that people are very influenced very easily. If they see like more white people getting opportunities, better opportunities that they wish they had, they are more likely to change themselves to fit in with the Western standard of beauty. And cosmetic surgery, there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like you should personally get it for yourself, not because you want to fit in with the other race, because you're not getting what you want out of life, basically. Well, my conclusion is that internalized racism happens a lot more in the African community because they want to better themselves, and because they feel like they're not good enough. People have put in their heads that racism, that being white or lighter is the best thing, because if you're darker, then you're not going to get anywhere in life. And people have also, you see how these little kids have,
For Aboriginal
yeah,
blacks from Australia, they are true blonde.
yeah, the true blonde, and the baby has, his eyes are naturally that blue. People, when you see people like that, most Black people who don't have those features start to envy them and start to get insecure because they feel like they need to